Hello and welcome to another episode of Things in My Head. My name's Lauren and today we do have another switch up in hosts. Jenny is on the other side of the camera and microphone and Cecile is literally at the boutique right now covering us so we can record this episode. We are headed that way afterwards. But with me today, I have a very special co-host, the peanut butter to my jelly, the salt to my lime, the salsa to my tortilla chip, the cheese to my cracker, Soraya Promise.
Hello.
I have my bestie with us. I put out the schedule for the boutique, the staffing for the boutique bi-weekly. And as soon as I put out last schedule, Cecile looked at this date today and was like, that's the day that you and Soraya are going to come in and record the episodes. I'll cover for you. Jen, you meet them there at my house and record this episode. And we're like, yeah, we could talk for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
At the very least.
At the very, very least, 30 minutes.
So Soraya's here. How are you today? And how do you feel about your Things in My Head debut?
I'm excited. Of course, I've been listening. So it's exciting. I told Lauren and Jen today, I was like, I'm the talent today.
The talent. We'll get into talent later for sure. Very, very talented women. But before we begin, let me go over some really important info on where you can find us. So, of course, you can follow Things in My Head podcast on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed and listen to us on Spotify, Things in My Head podcast. If you want to get texted anytime a episode drops, you can do so just as you would with our Facebook Live. Reach out to us and we can get you signed up for that via Loyal Shop text messages. Please follow us on Instagram at Things in My Head podcast. And of course, adjacently, we have Brooks Boutique, the store that we run. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Things in My Head podcast. Oh, sorry. I love Brooks Boutique. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I'm a robot. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. You can follow us at I Love Brooks Boutique on Instagram and TikTok. And but please follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Brooks Boutique Parentland. If you have any questions or comments or podcast episode ideas, please send us an email at thingsinmyheadpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, we have a long history.
We do.
Soraya has been with the boutique since 2020, but she has been by my side since 2013. So we thought we would take a moment to kind of give a rundown of the past 11 years, really lickety split. So, let's start in 2013. I was a little freshman with a full ride scholarship to San Jacinto Community College and what? Pasadena. And we were both in the theater program. Soraya is a grade older than me, and so she was entering her sophomore year. And believe it or not, I am the general manager of Brooks Boutique, and Soraya is a manager. But when we first met, Soraya was my boss.
I was.
Soraya, okay.
Very lightly though.
No, you had a lot of power. You ran that department.
It was a great experience. It was my second year, but it was my first year stage managing. The very first year, my freshman year, I was just an overall technician. But second year is whenever I stepped into the stage management role. And saw Lauren. Saw her talents first. And, extraordinary singer. And a great actress. Let her get in her role. If y'all join us on our Facebook Lives, she gets compliments all the time, especially ladies in store. She's fantastic. I don't know how she does that. Well, it's because her background is in theater and she's amazing at it.
Stop. Well, when I first met you, you were in that stage manager role, and the first thing I thought was, do not cross that woman. Do not cross that woman. It is yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. She says actors to the stage, and you say, thank you, actors, or, you do not mess with this woman. You carried yourself so professionally. You ran that ship like the Navy, and it was so awesome to have, because I'm the oldest sister. You were truly one of the first person I had in college that I truly did look up to, like an older sister. Like I know we only have like a year age gap, but I was just like, whatever you say, whatever Soraya is doing, I'm gonna do. Wherever Soraya is going, I'm gonna go. Whatever she says, I'm gonna say, yeah, So, so we met in college, and then we decided that that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
That wasn't enough. We met in community college, and then what happened after that?
And then we got scholarships to West Texas A&M, and we transferred out together.
Go
10
Buffs.
hours. Yeah, go Buffs. 10 hours away from our home in Houston. It was us and 3 other friends.
Your husband.
One of them being my husband. We traveled as a group up there together. And as close as we were at San Jack, we grew not apart, but grew
forward.
I think
together. We grew more within ourselves, because I would say like we were like a nucleus, like me, you, and Chad, and like Jordan or Jiggy, and Dom too. Like we were like this very tight nucleus when we were at San Jack, and then it was like splitting atoms, like, you know, going to West Texas because it was a larger department. There was definitely more opportunities. They kept you very busy. But also, if you weren't, I think it was the first time too, us experiencing that if we weren't doing anything with the department, there was still so much going on outside. I think at San Jack, like theater was our whole entire life.
Yes.
And in like a collegiate, like a university setting, it was like either you're doing a show or you got to figure out what to do with your life.
Yeah, I think that was the hardest adjustment. But for all of us as a group, so technicians in the theater space, technicians have more jobs than actors or actresses, like actors in general. It's a very split difference. Usually a technician can be working on multiple shows, an actor really can't. So for me, I instantly got in there and was in that first season show and stayed in a show consistently in different aspects at WT. For you, Chad, and Dom, it was a little different, where they had to audition for every show, and not a show only has
so many parts. Sometimes even as little as 6.
Yes.
I think that was like probably the smallest show I've ever like saw.
Yeah.
Not personally been in, but I
saw, yeah.
Was like a really small show.
And so having that divide, kind of, you fall off from the everyday togetherness, and it starts, oh, if you're working on this show, then we're together again. But if you're not, I have to be here from sun up to sundown. And Lauren, I guess you can speak on the other half of that of not.
I mean, sometimes when you are acting, either you have a role or you don't. And luckily there were other opportunities in the Amarillo area for, you know, actors to take hold of. But it would be kind of like you were always there, whether you were like in the workshop, you were in the design lab, you were working, like you were in a meeting with like the directors and the professors. And if I wasn't in a show, it would be like, oh my God, I haven't been to like the green room area in like weeks. And so that was really crazy. And so I think that is where we kind of not split up, but it was like different jobs. Almost like whenever you like, what I've seen, like when people go to corporate, like you may know someone at a corporate job, but y'all are in completely different departments. So you may like know each other and have that friendship, but you like work together, but you don't work together.
Yes.
So that was a change. Okay, so then you graduated. You graduated from West Texas A&M, and you were a year and a semester ahead of me. So
yes.
You graduated, and then I was all by my lonesome.
We left Lauren alone. We did.
Y'all literally left me, and then it's okay. Y'all thrived out there, and then you came back to Houston. Mm-hmm. You and Chad, and I stayed out there for a little bit, and I came back to Houston, and it did take us a moment, I would say, because there was that gap. Like it took us a moment to like kind of reconnect, and then a little thing called COVID hit us. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Like this huge like pandemic thing hit us. This pandemic did hit us, and we did bring down our staff a lot. But with that, our sales went up. the COVID was literally a phenomenon for our business, and I think a lot of other businesses as well. And we actually found our business booming. You know, we were mostly selling in store or in the local. Like if I was shipping to someone, because I would ship before you started working for us, if I shipped, it was like to Sugarland or Friendswood, mostly Sugarland or Missouri City area. But then we were finding customers in California, Arizona, Nevada, New York, all of that jazz, like Pennsylvania. And so I was like, oh my gosh, Hawaii. I was shipping to Hawaii. I was like, oh my gosh, I think for the first time ever, we need someone like in this role. It's crazy. So I went to social media and I posted on Twitter and I was like, hey, any of my friends looking for a job, like I really need someone to be a shipping manager for our boutique. She slid into my DMs.
I was like, hey, what do you need? What do you need?
And I was like, this job is off spreadsheets. She's perfect. She's perfect for the job. So Soraya came in and Mom fell in love with you. She knew of you. Like you would come over for like birthdays and stuff. And Mom knew you. And I was like, I would never, ever, ever like vouch for someone harder in my life than Soraya. You were Gonzalez then. But I would never vouch someone harder in my life than Soraya. And then she got the job.
And stayed here.
So I know, I think I skipped that part where like, okay, so basically COVID shut everything down for you because you were an active stage manager. You were working like that. You were like doubled, sometimes quadruple booked. For me, I left college and was like, I really don't know what I want to do yet. I kind of want to be in education, like theater education. I kind of want to work for a theater. I don't know what I want to do. And Mom was like, there's a job for you at the boutique while you look. And I fell in love with it. And I was like, and I get to be on camera every day. Sign me up. So, and now we're here. So, with that being said, let's chat a little bit about the dynamic of working together.
Absolutely.
So, as I said at the beginning of this podcast, when we first met, I was working for her. And now, not necessarily like you work for me, but we do work together. But for a while there, I was like your manager, like you were the shipping manager. Kind of just tell our listeners what it's like, what your perspective of working at the boutique is, and for family business.
Okay,
and with your bestie, cover those things.
Bestie, easy, only because. I feel like Lauren and I both have the emotional intelligence on how to communicate, especially with one another. So I feel like we do a great job well within our boutique, like how we approach the other ladies, how we approach us as a manager group. Jen is also a part of me and Lauren now. So us communicating with each other is one thing we do extremely well, I feel. And how we approach one another, especially on, I don't know if you, our listeners, have worked with your boss who's also your friend. And whenever things have to get done, and you have to approach each other in the sense of, hey, great, amazing, let's have our, have that same respect level. And, that has shined, I feel, so much in our friendship and our work relationship is the amount of respect we have for one another. And knowing that we've grown up, like we were kids when we met each other. Like we were 18, 19. And now as women, it's one thing because that's how we're able to communicate with the other ladies. But with Lauren and I, there's still a sense of that youthfulness, that kid-like composure that we like to keep within our friendship.
Mature but immature at the right times.
Yes, absolutely. And I had no idea what I was stepping into in the boutique other than spreadsheet and shipping.
And labels.
That's all. And so I was excited to get started with that because I was at home 2020, much like the rest of the country. So when Lauren posted it, I messaged her. I was like, what does it entail? And she's like, spreadsheets. And I was like, okay, that's easy enough. And so joined them, met with Cecile, and from there, I took what Lauren had already like started and just kind of built it from there so it could be a standalone its own standalone department.
It really is its own standalone department.
And you know, I didn't know about the Facebook Lives. I didn't know about at this time we didn't have an active website. We didn't have a shopping website. So it was Cecile and Lauren in front of the camera every day, and I would come in for my 2 or 3 hours a day, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, ship and then leave. And that's how it started off. And so I didn't understand the community yet of what Brooks Boutique is. And after a while, we're like, hey, this has to be like an everyday job now.
It's an everyday job. And then it got to the point, too, where you needed an assistant.
Yes.
Rachel first, when we were like, when we had our first $1 million goal for the year, Rachel had just joined us. My sister, Rachel, she had just had a baby. She has a background in cosmetology, but she was like taking a break right after Riley was born. But she, of course, you know, people need to work. So mom was like, well, there's a job. Like Soraya is up to her neck in shipping. Like you can bring Riley. Riley was like a newborn at that time. You can bring Riley. Y'all can hang out in the back. Like you and Soraya, you're her assistant. And then Rachel, it was time for her to leave. So she left. And then along came Joanne. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. I can't say enough amazing things about Joanne. Her personality is just so soft and comforting, but also she's a really hard worker. Yep.
And organized to the T. And so there's a lot of things I told Joanne, for me to her is, I'm here. Whatever you need from me, I'm going to make it happen for you. Mm-hmm. I gave her everything. And I was like, your focus is to really carry on the customer service portion of making sure the package looks great and just following the continuity of the process. And that's it. And everything else, I will take care of for you. And Joanne's just, like I said, amazing. So growing with Joanne in this department and teaching her, letting her take over and add the stuff that she wants to add and implement is great. And it honestly has allowed me to grow in the boutique too, because then that's when I took over the assistant store manager role.
Yes. So when Joanne joined us, it was the two of you together. And then at some point you had started like coming out onto the floor a lot more. And just like stage managing for theater, just like being the shipping manager, you truly do have a God-given, born with gift to lead people. Like you are a leader, like through and through. And so we're like, oh my gosh, like there is just still this whole other like part of the boutique where she just will thrive in. And of course you have. So then you were promoted to assistant manager along with Jenny, and the three of us just like boom, boom, boom. We worked hard. We really like did our very best to run a really tight team. We all are still here. So we're doing what we can, especially since this year has been a little bit harder. But let's talk about that for a second. So I think being best friends and then also working together and then also being managers together, it can be awesome. But then there's sometimes things that you're just like, I wish I didn't have to deal with this, or like, you know, not that it's hard, but you wish some things would come easier, like whether it's constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. Or I mess up and, mom's guiding you to tell me something and vice versa. And she's like, hey, did you have that conversation with Soraya? Or, hey, did you talk to Lauren? Or even then, like talking to someone, even like Jen or Brooke, who, yes, communicating, it should be an easy thing in any like work relationship. But I don't know what it is about our dynamic where there is like a little extra hurdle to jump over just to make sure that the communication is heard while also still this need to maintain friendship.
I think it's the want to protect.
The want to protect, exactly. That's exactly what
Lauren
it is.
and I are in the same, we feel the same about the people we love. We protect them at all cost. And sometimes it is a little difficult to approach each other like, Lauren, I'm like, Soraya, I'm sorry. And, And because we know how hardworking we are, one, two, the mistakes that we make and have to confront each other on, we know it was probably a one-time thing.
One-time thing and not intentional. And like you know someone so well that you're like, I know they didn't mean to do it like this, but they did do it. But like, I don't know if they know, but being in a work setting, you can't just like let things slide.
Yeah. And that goes to another thing. I have always been a very, I'm not gonna say strict, but sometimes I can be a little stern in my voice or in my tone.
But I'm used to that. I'm used to that. And yeah, so speak more on how being a stage manager is different now that you're learning from like being a business manager.
So as a stage manager, it's not a power trip. But you do have,
the show is in your hands.
The show is in my hands. I have to, as a stage manager, just give you a quick rundown. You have to, you're in charge of the integrity of the show that the director wants. Mm-hmm. So everything that the director has implemented for that show, choices as far as acting goes, choices design-wise, any look that director wants, you as a stage manager have to be the consistent throughout the entire show. So if actors are changing anything, you have to be the one to say, hey guys, this is how we did it in rehearsal. That's how the director wants it. I need you to maintain that. So it's always...
See, even the way she just said that, like, it's like, I don't know. It's different.
It is, because it's, again, not a power trip, but hey, this is how things need to be ran. I need it ran this way every time. Now, the boutique is a little different because it's all circumstances and in consignment too. Like it's
especially with consignment, because consignment is not as set in stone. It is a lot more subjective. Like any other like retail space, I think would be a lot more. I mean, you do really well in this environment, but I think if I were to put a stage manager anywhere, it'd be like a corporate big box or like a chain.
Yes.
When it's a small business and consignment where it's all subjective, it's a constant ebb and flow of changing policies to adjust to the format. It's not necessarily a handbook. That's when I think someone like you, who's very like, can sometimes be like, okay, this is different.
Yes. And it has changed me a little bit, but I had to learn too that whenever I speak in that tone, in that manner, it comes off as rude or mad. And I'm like, I'm not mad, guys. Have you not seen this person making this giggly ball of joy? She's never mad. I'm not mad. I just need you to do it the right way. That's and so sometimes, it can come off a little harsh. And although I don't intend for it to, I know sometimes it can, bug someone. Hey, I felt like Soraya was a little too intense. And it's like, I'm sorry. But also...
You're wrong.
You're wrong. No. But it's never... And that's what I told the girls. I think I said that a lot whenever I first entered this role in our meetings, in our staff meetings. I'm not yelling. I'm not...
I don't even think you raise your voice. It's just like...
It's a different tone. And it's
just black and white.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Whereas me, I think I'm like, hey... I'm definitely the millennial manager. And I'm like, hey... I know that that's hard. I know that this kind of sucks, but like, do you mind? Like, if we could just do it this way this time, I think we'll have a better outcome, or I think it'll smooth. But like, yeah, you're doing great. Like, I'm so sorry for bothering. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can take it. I'm so sorry for bothering.
And that's where we differ, because I'm like, hey, this is it. Get it done. And Lauren's like, okay, let's do this way and see if it changes anything.
Yeah. And that's what I would say, that's a weakness of mine. That's something I have to work on. But it's so strange being in this kind of dynamic of a business. I don't know.
But I think that's what gives us the fine balance. And sometimes I do have to go to Lauren and I'm like, bestie, just this is what's on my mind today. However you want to handle that, please do.
I'm like, so you are so right. Okay, hold on. Let me think about this. Okay, well, let's think that through. And then it also helps too that we like share the same brain cell.
One brain cell. Between us two, it's only one brain cell.
Yeah, and we're both working this weekend, so it's just going to be like... So, well, that's kind of the dynamic of working together. I think you do a fantastic job. Like I said, you are like a natural born leader. Like you could run your own country one day. Soraya promised for president. Like, come on. Soraya promised for president.
Although I don't want the stress.
Yeah.
I have enough grays already.
It's beautiful. It's silver. It's silver, not
It's
gray.
silver, not gray. You're right.
Oh, well, let's take a quick break and we'll come back in just a few short moments.
Awesome.
Hey everyone, it's Cecile, and I'm honored to say that next week we will be celebrating 13 years of Brooks Boutique. The 13th year is the lace anniversary, and we're ready to celebrate with you in style. On Sunday, October 20th, we'll be hosting a private in-store and virtual celebration, Lux and Lace. Wear your best lace attire and join us for brunch, champagne, and your favorite activity, shopping. Tickets are on sale now until October 16th for both in person and virtually. This is a private event, so get your ticket now before it's too late. Every ticket is also a bazaar entry for some fabulous prizes. Additional bazaar tickets are also available for purchase. The inventory at this event are exclusive items we've been holding specially for Lux and Lace, and you do not want to miss it. Thank you for your many years of love and support.
Back, we're going to play a little game. I don't know if y'all have seen this on TikTok or Instagram Reels, but it's a game that you play with someone that you know really well. And it's basically like charades or heads up, but it's with inside jokes or like lingo that you have in your friend vocabulary. So we have been friends for 11 years. There are so many sayings that we have in our friendship dictionary vocabulary. So we're gonna take a stab at this game. We both came up with some sayings, and we had Jen make sure we didn't have any repeating ones. So Soraya is gonna go first. I have the phrase right here. She's going to hold it up to her head, and she's not. So you don't make sure you don't look at the camera.
Okay.
Make sure you don't.
Okay.
Look
I
at
gotta
me.
look directly at you.
Okay, so look this way. Don't look. Okay, so I'm gonna hold up. Okay, so that's what she's about. That's what she's trying to guess. I'm gonna give her some clues, and she has to guess it, and she's got to say it in the same way that we like joke about it. Okay.
Okay.
So hold that up. Don't look at the camera. Don't hold the camera. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. We say this when like someone is really good at their job or they make a lot of money doing what they do. You know.
Okay.
They're really good at what they do. They're like high up and they make a lot of money doing it. Or like, oh, they know. You don't know? Girl, you're
Hold on.
Wait, you can't look at the camera.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
A little more context.
We say this. It's a line. Okay, this is gonna give it away. But okay, it's a line from a show that I was.
He's a doctor. No.
Well, what's the other word? Like, what's the?
He's a professional.
Okay, yay, good job. I believe in you. See, I knew you could do it. Okay, so that was round one. I should have given you an easier one. I
I had no idea. I was like, what do you? And then that's why.
I knew
okay.
the show one would be too close. Okay, yeah. So, we were in Chad and I, her husband, we were in a little musical called Little Shop of Horrors, and I had to, Ellen Green, was that the lady?
Yeah.
And, I was going more for the Carrie Butler rendition of the Audrey. I was the Audrey, and Chad was Seymour, and it was like, he's a professional. And anytime someone we were like, oh yeah, he does this, or oh, he makes a lot of money doing this, like, he's a professional.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do round two.
Okay.
Guess Soraya's phrase. Okay, so pass the
All
phone
right.
to me. Okay, I'm scared. Okay.
It's something we say when it's so obvious.
It's not obvious though. It's not obvious. Okay, hold on.
When situations it's posed as a question, and the story behind it is when we were on our way to Canyon.
Oh, you mean like put a fence around it?
So similar.
Similar?
It's that sorry, I did not mean to
You
tap your
poked
nose.
me in the nose. Okay.
It's that. You're right.
Okay, it's that story?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's that phrase, but how do we say
You mean
it?
like a fence?
There you go.
Okay, so So, you tell the story on that one.
So we were on our way to Canyon for the first time.
My mom was driving us. Tiffany.
Tiffany was driving us. It was Lauren, myself, Chad, and our friend Sydney. And there was so much roadkill. I mean, we're going to West Texas,
middle of nowhere, Texas,
the Panhandle.
BFE.
So nothing but roadkill. And Lauren was like, man, I wonder if there's anything we can do to like protect all this roadkill, like all these animals coming onto the road. And a beat, and her mom goes, "You mean like a fence?" And we lost it. I mean, from that point on, all the way to Canyon, it was like a good 6 hours left in our road trip.
We're gonna build a wall for these animals. We're gonna build a wall, and this wall's gonna be so big, and it's gonna protect all these animals from getting killed.
Tiffany was like, "You mean a fit? You mean?"
Mind you, okay, I thought of the fence before Donald Trump because this was before. So I thought of the fence first.
You did. You really did. But it was hysterical. I mean, we laughed.
Oh my God.
For 6 hours about that. And Chad and I still use it too in our vocab.
But what's so funny? So the Texans were gonna get New Jerseys, right? The Texans were gonna get New Jerseys, and like we were gonna rebrand the Texans. And I was like, and then we got a little sneak peek, and it's like red, black, and white. And I'm like, no, like what if it's like? And I like open up my Snapchat, and I'm like looking our Instagram stories. I'm like pulling up colors, and I'm like, okay, red, white, and blue. And it was like literally red, white, and blue. And I showed Tyler, I'm like, right? And he's like, you mean like the French flag? You mean like France?
And Lauren and I completely lost it even more because we're like, you mean like a fence?
Like a France?
Yeah, like a France. It was
I'm sweating.
Oh man.
Okay, round 3.
Oh.
Okay, so once again, I'm going to have you hold this up to your head, and you have to guess this based on the clues that I give you. Okay. Okay. We say this when we're like obsessed with someone, or like we're kind of starstruck, and we're like kind of like, no, okay. You're just like, if you were to like see someone, or you're like almost like think of like a stalker, and no, nothing.
Oh, no, keep going. Keep going.
So you're kind of like almost like to a stalker level, and like it's kind of like what you would say to someone that you were starstruck by or obsessed with, or like maybe they're like cute, and you're like, oh gosh, this should be easier. Okay, you're like, it's a SpongeBob reference. This is gonna give it away.
Hi, Kevin.
Yes. Hi, Kevin. So I dated a guy named Kevin. In college, and his name was Kevin, and all we could think of with him was hi, Kevin, because it's a SpongeBob line. And so anytime that there's like someone who you're like, ooh, like I love that person, or like baseball players,
yeah,
Travis Kelce. We love men in sports.
We do love men in sports.
Yeah, or anything like celebrity wise, and you're like, oh yeah, they're kind of cute, or like, oh, like they're awesome. Like, oh, hi, Kevin.
Yeah, and you know, like I guess for men, it's like the cat calling. That's mine and Lauren's cat
that
calling.
That is literally a cat call.
Yeah.
Like, hi, Kevin.
So
I had to say that. Actually, I found the GIF. There was like, our trolls on the Facebook Lives. Like he was saying something mean to mom, and his name was Kevin. And so all I did was put the GIF, and it was like SpongeBob going, hi, Kevin. I'm your biggest fan.
And that was a long time ago too. That was very early on.
That was like San Jack I was dating.
Yeah,
Kevin. And even my siblings did it too. Even my siblings did it, and like behind his back.
That's so funny. Yes.
Okay, cut.
Okay, so mine. I just got to give it to you.
You got to give it to me. I hope it's not hard.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
So this is This phrase here is what our life title would be. Our story together.
Oh, the blind and the blonde.
Yes,
The blind leading the blind. Either or, that's a sequel.
Yes.
So the part 1 is the blind leading the blonde, and the part 2 is blonde leading the blind.
Yes.
Part 2, electric boogaloo.
Boogaloo.
Oh my. Yes. Okay. So that's like really pink. Okay. So when we were at San Jac, Soraya and I were on promos team. That's basically you are in charge of box office. You're in charge of concessions, like for the shows. You're in charge of making sure your posters for the show good out in the community. We were in Passagate down Dina, and we would have to. There'd be promo day, and the fresh posters would come in from the press, and Dr. Ivans would be like, okay, y'all go. And he would put us together smartly, not smartly. And so I would be the driver. I've always been the,
Yeah. I'm passenger princess always.
Forever and ever.
Forever
amen.
and ever.
And so we would be driving around Pasadena, and like you grew up in the area, but I did not. And this was like kind of before GPS too. Like GPS wasn't used as much. And so I'm blonde, but also very blind. And then Soraya is just
very blind.
Very, very blind. And so we'd be in Pasadena, and we'd be like driving around. I'm like, oh, do I turn up here, or where's this place? And we have to go hang up these posters. And so like since the beginning of time, it's always the blind leading the blind, or the blind. That's like kind of our management process too.
Honestly, yeah. I really think it's our saying for our entire friendship.
Is the blind leading the blonde, and the blonde leading the blind. It was kind of hard when I wasn't blonde for a little bit. It was, but it was still blonde. But okay. Thank you so much for joining us today on Things in My Head. It's been so much fun to host with my bestie of 11 years. And I just want you to know that I'm so happy to have you part of the team, part of my family. And you are my best friend until the end of time.
Aw, how do I top that?
Tell me something nice about myself. What do you love about me?
I love everything about you. Truly, other than my husband, Lauren is my soulmate. And we talk about it all the time. He's just so jealous of the friendship we have in the healthiest way of, he knows if he can't give me emotional support in any kind of way, he knows I'll go to Lauren.
I mean, exactly. Yes, you were so right. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you the validation that you need. Well, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We will be back next week. I think I have another episode under my belt, or maybe it's you and Jenny. I think we're going to do you and Jenny next. So we're going to do that next. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Things in My Head Podcast. Of course, follow the boutique at Love Brooks Boutique, and Facebook.com/Brooks Boutique Pearland. Thank you all so much for your love and support. We'll see you soon.
Bye.